Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
Good morning, friends. Greetings and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado, registered pharmacist number 12275. I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health issue. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 28 years of practicing pharmacy, I've seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes and hypertension and obesity and skin diseases like acne and psoriasis and eczema and rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, a regenerating system, and it's designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that healing, renewing, regenerating system a miracle, it really is no miracle at all. It is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, we welcome your phone calls on The Bright Side. Our number is 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. Let us help you change your life today if you're dealing with a health crisis, a degenerative disease. If you know someone, have a loved one, a family member, workmate who's dealing with a health challenge or health crisis, we can help you. If you want to get off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program or help someone else get off their meds, we can help you do that as well. 844-236-6010 is our number today and every day on The Bright Side. If you're interested in purchasing any of the Longevity products you hear advertised on the program, you can head over to my website, brightsideben.com, and take a look at our shopping cart. You can also call the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470. All right. Our number today on The Bright Side and every day, 844-236-6010. We welcome your phone calls. We'll get to them in the bottom of the hour. Try to get on board early so we can get to as many calls as possible. And if we left you on hold in the past, tell our call screener that you were on hold and that we didn't get to you, and we'll get you first up. All right, I want to continue, or actually finish up hopefully today, about anxiety and the relationship anxiety has to brain chemicals, so-called neuro, meaning nerve, transmitters. They transmit nerve energy in the brain. These brain chemicals are called neurotransmitters, and they include things like acetylcholine and GABA and glutamate. GABA is associated with relaxation. Glutamates, which many of you guys have heard of in terms of their excitotoxic potential. Glutamates are excitatory, and they're balanced out by GABA. Glutamate mimics or glutamate imitation elements have been used in ingredients in food to improve their taste. MSG is a famous glutamate, the most famous probably glutamate, and these kinds of excitatory brain chemicals are added to food to excite the brain into liking the foods that ordinarily the brain wouldn't ever go near, the body would never go near. But by putting these excitatory brain chemical analogs, if you will, simulators of brain chemicals, simulators of excitatory brain chemicals, the brain goes, yippee! It's really happy to see its Spam and its slushies and its Campbell's chunky soup or whatever kind of foods these excitotoxins are in. By exciting the brain is happy. The brain likes these foods that it ordinarily wouldn't like. All of a sudden it's happy to see because of these excitatory chemicals that are added to the food. Because the brain's sensitivity to these excitatory chemicals, the excitation inhibition balance is very important in the brain. By throwing in these excitatory chemicals into foods, food manufacturers may be upping their sales by increasing or improving the taste of their foods. Problem is, these things are toxic to the brain. The balance of excitatory and inhibitory chemicals is very important. When you start to take in excitatory chemicals artificially through foods, you end up with a toxic effect, hence the term excitotoxin. One of the most interesting, fascinating of the brain hormones, of the neurotransmitters, is the stuff called dopamine. Medical professionals know about dopamine as it regards Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is associated with a breakdown in dopamine chemistry in the brain. There's a degeneration of an area of the brain that's responsible for the production of dopamine when you have Parkinson's disease. This area of the brain actually is kind of black in color. The brain has a kind of gray tinge, hence the term gray matter. And there's actually blacker or darker areas in the brain. Technically, this dark area of the brain is called the black substance, in Latin, substantia nigra, meaning the black substance. And this substantia nigra, this black area of the brain, produces melanin. It has a high concentration of melanin. The same kind of melanin that's in the skin is actually in the brain. The same tanning pigment that we have in the skin that protects us from the sun is actually located in the brain. And you ask yourself, why would there be a pigment in the brain? Why would there be a protective pigment in the brain, a pigment that ordinarily protects the skin from the sun? Why would that be located in the nervous system, in the brain? Well, it turns out that melanin is super highly conductive stuff. It's electrically active. It's actually being explored for its use in biological electrical circuits. There are people who are trying to figure out how to get electrical circuitry made out of biological substances, and melanin is one of these materials that's being used. As it turns out, in addition to being important for movement, dopamine is well known as a movement chemical, and that's where you get Parkinson's symptoms from a breakdown in the areas that produce dopamine. Without enough dopamine, you can't really move smoothly. But dopamine's involved in a lot more than movement. Dopamine is actually considered to be a reward neurotransmitter. It's a pleasure neurotransmitter. It's associated with pleasure, reward, addictive behaviors, and deficiencies in dopamine are linked to anxiety. Deficiencies in dopamine are linked to what's called anhedonia, which is a lack of the ability to get pleasure. We're hardwired to get pleasure from moving our bodies. This is the link between dopamine and pleasure. We're hardwired to get pleasure from movement, to get pleasure from activity. There's a lesson here for people who are suffering from depression and people who are suffering from anxiety. A lot of times people who are depressed aren't moving around. And this could be a vicious cycle, of course, because lack of movement can induce depression, and then depression can induce more lack of movement. You just don't feel like doing anything, and you sit around, and that can cause more depression, more brain problems, and that causes more lack of movement and more brain problems. You get this downward spiral. There's a clue here. Physical activity and muscle movement are associated with pleasure. I know how it feels when you get up in the morning, you know you got to go out and run, you know you got to go out and exercise, but you feel better after you do it. We are rewarded biochemically for exercise. It's because the body wants to move. It wants to exercise. And mentally, we may have a resistance to it. In terms of our higher brain functions, we may think, I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to get on the treadmill. But underneath that, there is a biochemical reward system that kicks in when we do work out, and that's why we feel better after a workout. Physical activity means pleasure. Muscle movement means pleasure. There's other ways you can increase dopamine, not just exercise and not just moving your body around. And some of these ways of increasing dopamine are not necessarily so beneficial. This is one of the reasons for drug addiction. This is one of the reasons why we self-medicate with drugs, illegal or otherwise, to regulate our dopamine. Many addictive behaviors are linked to dopamine increase. There's a relationship between addiction, addictive behaviors, and pleasure and reward. Addictive behaviors can be linked to dopamine increase, and it may be that our addictions, whether we're addicted to gambling or we're addicted to food or thrill-seeking behaviors, bungee jumping, people are addicted to all kinds of stuff, it may be that our addictive behaviors are really unconscious ways that we unconsciously self-medicate, ways that we unconsciously attempt to up-regulate our dopamine production. Many addictive drugs increase dopamine production. Amphetamine, methamphetamine, cocaine. These are all associated with stimulation of the production of dopamine. You don't necessarily need to use illegal drugs to bump up your dopamine. You can use cottage cheese to bump up your dopamine. According to Dr. Eric Braverman, anyway, in the book The Edge Effect, he says cottage cheese, turkey, beans, oats, wheat germ, these are all dopamine boosting foods. There's actually an over-the-counter medication that people take sometimes, unwittingly, perhaps anyway, to upregulate their dopamine production. I'll tell you what that is when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We've got lines open for you, 844-236-6010. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back after this.
Hi, I'm George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM. I recently learned about a very unusual pharmacist who does not advocate use of prescription drugs, except in rare circumstances, say when powerful antibiotics are needed to kill a potentially lethal infection, such as pneumonia or staph. Instead, pharmacist Ben Fuchs from Boulder, Colorado, suggests always giving the body all the nutrients it needs to survive, thrive, escape illness, and live younger and longer. I don't think you will find anyone who knows more about how the body works and can explain it in such a delightful and entertaining way. Ben has recorded some very useful Health Nugget Minutes that are available 24/7 online at criticalhealthnews.com. I invite you to log on to criticalhealthnews.com, listen to these Pharmacist Ben Health Nuggets, and maybe even interact with Ben via chat or email. You're going to love Pharmacist Ben online at criticalhealthnews.com.
On the average, Americans work between 45 to 50 years, hoping to build up enough wealth to retire and live out their golden years. Unfortunately, with taxation, the rising cost of food, energy, housing, and medical, many retirees are forced to live below the poverty line. Is this a flaw free enterprise, or is our monetary unit we call the Federal Reserve Note forcing us into perpetual debt, ensuring inflation and higher taxes? These questions and more can be answered by reading G. Edward Griffin's book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Congressman Ron Paul states it's what every American needs to know about central bank power. A gripping adventure into the secret world of international banking cartel. Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I will give a silver dollar from the early 1900s to anyone who purchases this book. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order a copy today. It's critical that the public be made aware of the system. Call and order your copy today at 1-800-686-2237. That's 1-800-686-2237.
Yeah? Did you want to see me, sir? Well, I did, but now that I do, I'm not so sure. Sir? Johnson, I got a mission for you that could change your life. Oh, good, sir. It involves traveling halfway around the world without so much as half a clue of where you're going or what you're going to do when you get there.
Situation normal, sir?
Uh-huh. Well, I'll be leading this mission, Johnson, so I'll be telling you what to do.
You, sir?
That's right, Johnson, and I say first things first.
Oh, good plan, sir.
And what I say is first is food. Always remember that, Johnson. Food is a big deal.
Sir, my brother-in-law can get us a really good deal on some surplus MREs.
Johnson, if you've got half a brain and that empty head of yours, you'll call the freeze-dry guy like I did. That food is better for you, it rehydrates faster, and it's good, Johnson, and it keeps for up to 30 years.
Will we be gone that long, sir?
I hope not. Now get your supplies organized and meet me down to the pier at dawn on Sunday. We sail at sunrise.
Yes, sir.
This adventure is brought to you by the Freeze Dry Guy. Call 866-404-3663 or visit freezedryguy.com.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
GCN, proudly sponsored by UnseenNow.com. Find out how to stop Big Brother in his tracks at UnseenNow.com. This is GCN.
All right, we're back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time. Got archives at brightsideben.com. 3.5 years, going on 4 years, maybe more. Maybe 4.5 years of archives. I don't even know how long I've been doing this program. Any case, you can head over to brightsideben.com and check out the archives or order any of the products you hear advertised on the program. or recommended. 866-735-2470 is the phone number for the Brightside Ben phone team if you would rather talk to somebody or if you want to discuss signing up and joining the Brightside